Hello and welcome to CloudTimes CEO series today. Today I'm with the CEO of Couchbase, Bob Wiederhold. Hi.
Hi, good to meet you.
And thank you for inviting us over to your office in Mountain View.
Oh, thanks very much. Great to have the opportunity to talk about the company.
Excellent. I like the red couch. So that's
yeah, I dressed in red. These are our colors, and being Couchbase, this is our official red couch. So.
Exactly. I was just looking how much red I have. Well, excellent. So tell me a little bit more about Couchbase, about your background, and
Sure. So Couchbase is the leading NoSQL database company, and so of course today the dominant database technology is relational databases, but NoSQL over the last few years has really started to pick up a lot of momentum and basically provides a distributed database that provides much higher performance, much better scalability, and a very flexible schemaless data model that increasingly is very appealing to application developers that are developing internet applications, that are moving to the cloud, etc. So a lot of momentum in the NoSQL industry, and we're fortunate to be a leader in that space.
Excellent. And about the company, a little bit history. When was it founded? By whom? How many people are you by now?
Yeah, so the company was founded in 2009, and actually pretty recently, yeah, like most NoSQL companies. And you know, kind of an interesting founding in the sense that Couchbase is the combination of two companies, Membase and Couch1.
Right.
Membase is a company that originally was focused on evolving the Memcached open source project and started the Membase open source project. And so Steve Yen and Dustin Stallings and James Phillips were the founders of Membase.
Yeah. And
then for Couch1, Couch1 was the company that was focused on developing the CouchDB open source project, and Damian Katz and Chris Anderson and Jan Leonard were the founders of that company. So since we really see the combination of the two companies as a real merger between leaders in the NoSQL space, we continue to see view the founding team of each company as the founders of Couchbase. So both companies got started, and they're all still here. Both companies founded in 2009, and we the company is now based in Mountain View, California. Originally, the Couch1 team was distributed with a center of mass in the Oakland area, so we're all local to California and the Bay Area.
Very good.
Okay. Yeah, so that worked out very well.
And you recently had a successful funding round, $14 million.
Yeah, we were
Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we were very excited about that, and so we had a seed round of financing, actually $15 million, 14 of which came from a combination of existing VCs and a new lead, which was Ignition Partners. Yeah. And then $1 million we reserved for strategic customer investments. And just yesterday we actually announced one of those strategic customer investors, and that's NTT Docomo. So we're very excited about that. We have put in place a program to work very closely with a small number of strategic customers. Zynga was our first big strategic customer, obviously the largest social gaming company. And we've worked with them for, well, almost 2 years now, and they're also a strategic investor. And then with NTT Docomo, they're the largest mobile operator in Japan. And obviously one of the big trends that's driving our business is the move to mobile computing. And so they have a very big interest in developing new mobile applications that take advantage of the cloud, that are that allow users to interact with data that sits in the cloud, and so they were very interested in seeking out innovative players that they thought could really help them develop the next generation of mobile applications. So our mobile implementation of our NoSQL database was very interesting to them. We're the only NoSQL player right now that has a mobile version of our product, and so I think that's going to be a great strategic customer relationship that certainly I think will pay them big benefits, but also will really help us to evolve the mobile part of our business very, very quickly. So we're very excited about that.
Does that help to get other mobile operators in, or is that going to make things more difficult in AT&T, etc.?
No, I think it will help. I mean, there's you know, with regards to their investment, they don't have a board seat or any you know, special rights, right? So it's really just about us making a commitment to really help them to incorporate this NoSQL technology, and specifically the mobile NoSQL technology, in their future products, and just working with them very closely. It's a large customer relationship, and we're going to work with them closely. So you know, not all customers need that kind of assistance and help, and so we have different relationships with different customers, and we're very happy to be working closely with NTT Docomo.
Okay. And
I suspect that other mobile operators will also be interested, but you know, it's certainly our strategy is not just to work with mobile operators. There are all kinds of companies that are developing applications and solutions that have a mobile component, and we'll be working with you know, many enterprises, mobile operators, consumer-oriented app developers. So it's a very rapidly growing and interesting space, and so we'll.
But mobile a big part, for you, an important area.
Mobile is huge, you know, obviously a lot has been written about the fact that we're kind of moving out of the PC era into the mobile computing era. Increasingly, people are spending a higher and higher percentage of their time interacting with applications using their mobile devices, whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone or the iPad or one of the other tablet computers that people have, and I'm sure other products over time. But increasingly, they're going to be interacting with applications that run on those kinds of devices. And increasingly with the cloud, they're also going to be interacting through those mobile devices with their data that increasingly sits in the cloud, and other kinds of processing that's being done in the cloud. And so our whole mobile strategy is not to just offer you know, an isolated implementation of our database on a mobile device, but really provide a complete solution, right? So increasingly, you'll be running, you know, a Couchbase database in the cloud that will be storing your and maybe hundreds of thousands of millions or of other users' data in the cloud. And then you'll have an application that's sitting on your mobile device. You may be storing some information locally on that device, but then very importantly, you're going to be able to sync all of that data back to the cloud, right? And we have what we think is just fantastic syncing technology that allows you to very easily sync your data when you do have a network connection. And when you don't have a network connection, you can interact with the local database. And I think there's going to be a whole generation of new applications that are going to take advantage of this kind of a solution. And Docomo, just to name one, we have many other customers in addition to Docomo that are operating in this kind of a mode, and for whom that mobile component of the overall solution is very, very important, right? So, so this is one aspect of our overall solution, not an independent product that just runs on a mobile device. So, very excited about that.
Tell me a little bit more about value proposition, and what I would like to hear a little bit about is in reference also to one of your competitors, MongoDB. How do you differentiate yourselves from them, and what's your specific value proposition?
Sure. So both MongoDB as well as Couchbase are document-oriented databases, and we think a key advantage for us is the very high performance while also having data durability, right? So very simply, we have the Memcached caching layer that sits in front of the database. Generally speaking, you're going to keep the working set of your data in your cache, and so you're going to get memory type access performance and very, very low latency, very predictable performance out of our solution. And that's one area where we think we have a big advantage.
Mm-hmm.
A second advantage we think is associated with our scalability. And it's relatively easy to be able to scale, certainly at one node. It's pretty easy to scale to 5 nodes, maybe even 10 nodes in a cluster. But once you start getting to 20 nodes, 50 nodes, 100 nodes, multi-hundreds of nodes, it becomes a very, very different problem in terms of scalability. And this is one area I mentioned Zynga earlier, where I think it's been hugely important to our success in the scalability area, because they have scaled to a large number of nodes in their clusters. And so we've been forced to make sure that, number one, we have the right architecture to allow you to scale to a large number of nodes. And just to give you a feeling for that, you can imagine with a 5-node cluster, the communication that's taking place between the different nodes is relatively small. Yeah. Once you go to 100 nodes or 200 nodes, all of a sudden, if you've got that number of nodes all communicating with one another, if you don't have the right architecture, that's not going to work, right? So you have to have an architecture that's going to scale to a very large number of nodes. You have to have the right kind of monitoring capabilities. You have to have the right kind of alerting capabilities in order to be able to operate at those kinds of scales. And again, we feel very fortunate that customers like Zynga have really driven us to put the right architecture in place, to build the right monitoring and alerting capabilities. And so I think we've attained a reputation that we can not only operate extremely well at 1 node or 5 nodes, but when you need us, right, when your business grows and now you need 15 nodes, 25 nodes, 100 nodes, you can have a lot of confidence that, number one, we already have customers that are operating at that kind of scale, and that we have a solution that's going to be with you. Not everyone is going to grow their clusters to those kinds of sizes, but it's good to know that if you do, that your solution, the Couchbase solution, has been tested and used at that kind of scale. Yeah. So the performance and the scalability are two really I think differentiated capabilities. In addition, we have a full set of clients for all the different popular languages that are very easy to use and proven and supported. So those are some of the key differentiators that we hear about on a consistent basis from our customers. Maybe a couple of other quick ones as well is just the robustness of the solution. Mm-hmm. These are complicated, databases are complicated pieces of technology, and
do you have any metrics or KPIs on that?
On
robustness?
We don't have any specific ones. I mean, the key thing is that we have invested very heavily in quality engineering and quality assurance. We work very closely with our customers to make sure that our solutions have as few problems as possible. And I think we're quickly gaining a reputation. Not that we're perfect by any means, because certainly there are customers that from time to time have problems, but we're quickly continuing to mature the technology and get it to the point that there are as few problems as possible, and that customers can really rely on our database to be up and running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And so we're making very, very rapid progress on having this be a super stable product. And so I think we're attaining a reputation in the industry for that robustness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what's next? Where are you heading in terms of can be geography, can be product? Are you hiring as well?
We're hiring like crazy. So we were hiring like crazy before we had the financing, and certainly it makes it even easier to hire very, very quickly now that we've done an additional round of financing. But we're over 50 people now. Okay. I have no idea what will be a year from now, but I suspect it will be well over 100 people. Our sales are growing very, very quickly. And so we're hiring top-notch engineers that have distributed systems expertise and database expertise. We're hiring top-notch both pre-sales and post-sales customer support people. I mentioned our commitment to the quality of the product, so we're very aggressively hiring quality engineering and quality assurance people. So we're, as you saw when you walked into this facility here, we're packed. We'll be moving to a much bigger site in a couple of months. So things are moving very, very quickly.
Okay. In terms of product news coming out soon, can you mention anything? Where are you heading there?
Well, the key thing is that very shortly we'll officially actually get our mobile product as a general release.
Okay.
So that's coming up in a few weeks. That's been hugely anticipated by both the existing users of the beta versions of the product, as well as the NTT Docomos of the world. Okay. So that's a big thing. We're right now. I mentioned earlier the merger between Couch One and Membase. And it's basically, simply put, combining a key value store with a document-oriented database. And so we have something called a developer preview that's available today. And in a relatively short period of time, we will be delivering the production version of that release. So that's just a number of weeks away right now. We have some really exciting capabilities coming out with respect to something called the cross-data center replication. So that basically will allow people to replicate the database that they have in one data center in another geographically dispersed location, so that if one data center goes down, they can quickly move their users over to another data center. So those are some of the short-term, bigger items that we're focused on, and there's tens and tens of smaller features that we're adding. So the product is evolving very, very quickly, and that's the nature and what makes being in a relatively new industry so exciting, because things are moving very, very quickly.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That was very interesting.
Great. Thank
you. All the best.
I appreciate the time. Take
Congrats.
care. All right.